All right, I am in the room. Okay, so there are quite a few of you that are already sitting in here. So I'm gonna open up the chat bar on the side and say hello to you all. If those of you who are already in the room can say hello, let me know that you can hear me and see me. Those are the two most important things. Hi, Jenna. Awesome. Okay, so I am taking that as a sign that, yeah, we've got people raising their hand. Awesome. Okay, you guys can see. Hi, hi. Oh, wow, so many of you. Hi, Bella, Lydia, Joanne, Julie. Awesome. Sandra, so many of you coming in. Margaret, Cedar, Natalie, Dacia, Emily, Faye, Lori. Oh, you made it, Lori. Hi. Janice. Tons of you coming on here and more coming into the room. Jody, Mandy, hello, hello. Okay, so as we are just getting on here, 8 o'clock. Hi, Christina. I give it a couple of minutes to let everybody get into the room. So many people have been emailing us today, and if you're one of them and we didn't get back to you, it's just because it's been crazy, but asking if there is a recording of this. Yes, you are all going to receive the recording. And so you can listen to this again, absorb and take some of the information in. Hi, Allison. Anne, amazing. So as you guys are coming in and getting yourselves settled, a couple of things here housekeeping wise. We are using technology, which from time to time, I have been doing these for so long now. The screen can sometimes freeze. It might be on your end, it might be on my end. Don't panic. First thing you can do is just refresh. Sometimes what you may have to do is go out of the meeting and then come back into it. I might have to do that tonight. Don't panic. I always trust everything will work out as it is meant to be, and we just figure out a way. We're not trying to create any additional stress in our systems or in our lives. The other thing I would say is make sure that you're hydrated. And I would really ask tonight that you let go of any outside distractions. So I know that can be hard. I'm recording this, live here from my home, and we have renos going on right now, literally in this room around me. I mean, if you don't believe me, here's my husband's hammer. Here's whatever one of these things are. There's literally like a renovation station happening next to me, and my children and my husband are home downstairs. So I get it that there's distractions, but I'd love if you can turn the volume off on your cell phone or put it on airplane mode and, have pen and paper nearby and just give yourself. It's not even about giving me the attention. It's about giving yourself the attention for the next little bit. So we're going to be probably 45 minutes to an hour at the most. It just depends on how many additional questions there are. There's already been a whole bunch of questions that have been submitted that I've got here nearby. And yeah, more of you coming in. Awesome. And people from all over, which is incredible. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to get started. Anybody else who is joining in with us can join in when they do. So again, I just want to welcome you on this Monday night. I can't believe how far we are already into the month of April. It is incredible to me. And I'm just really honored that you would take the time out of your schedule to be with me here tonight. Many of you are here because you have been following me on Instagram, you've been following me on Facebook, or you're receiving our emails. And over the last couple of weeks, I've been talking a ton about digestion and inflammation. I am always talking and teaching about your hormones, your thyroid, your menstrual cycle, reproductive health, cycle syncing, your adrenals, exercise, mindset. And I wanted to bring everybody together tonight because this is the time of year that I run my foundational course, The Simplicity Project. This is really where the 6 steps to creating the body and the health that you are after, and ultimately the life that you are after, originated from. And I run this program once a year. And I bring a big group of women together and create this community and this education to help you to move from a place of having a little bit of understanding to getting some really deep knowledge in your body so that you are better equipped with all the tools and the information, regardless of whether you're traveling or you're eating out or you've got work events or there's something stressful that's happening in life, depending on what's happening budget-wise, all of those things, that you still feel like you have the opportunity to feel your best, to be able to understand the signs and the symptoms that your body's trying to communicate with you. And when you have that feeling like, I know something is off, I know my body better than anybody, I know that something is just not right here, that you can start to be able to have the tools and the resources to know where to dig a little bit deeper, to peel back some of those top surface layers and start to get to the root cause of why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. So I'm going to take you guys through tonight what my 6-step approach is when I am teaching programs like this, the Simplicity Project or the Hormone Project, when I'm working with clients one-on-one. And I don't do a lot of private coaching anymore. I take about 3 to 4 young girls and women. I do work with girls that are in their teens, especially those that have irregular menstrual cycles, who have really exacerbated PMS, or who are just embarking on this healthy journey and don't know where to begin. I mainly work with, women and moms who just feel overwhelmed. They feel like somewhere along the path of having children and a marriage and a job that they just lost themselves in there. And, even though from the outside it doesn't appear like it, I understand and know what that feels like. I think it's why I resonate so much, with these teachings. It is why this book exists. The Simplicity Project, this book that I originally wrote in 2012, it's in its 3rd edition now. This is what the whole course is based off of, are all the teachings of this book. And, what is the Simplicity Project? Like, how did this come about? I, for years, was working with women and teaching all these different workshops and seminars and had all of these different flyers and pamphlets and this information put together. And quite honestly, I was just getting frustrated having all of these. And my husband said to me, you need to just write a book and have it all in one place. And I thought, well, who's going to read that book? And lo and behold, a lot of darn people have read that book, and it has changed a lot of lives, and it has led to this education system that is really about these 6 steps we're going to go through tonight. So how do I work as a practitioner when I have so many different people coming to me with all different backgrounds, different lifestyle factors, different health history? Here's where it all begins for me, is when I'm working with somebody, I do timeline work. So I want to know as much as I can about your health history as possible. That's not always available to the amount of people that are reaching out in this online world day in and day out. With having these online courses, you can sit like you are tonight with me from the comfort of your home, from the drive into work, walking outside and having your earbuds in, being at the gym on the elliptical, cooking dinner in your kitchen for your family, being at your, child's gymnastics or hockey or soccer, and still being able to do this level of personal development where you feel like this is for me. And that's where I want you all to come to this. This program is created by a mom and a woman, and it is for women only. Not that I don't love men and I don't want our men to benefit, but I honestly truly believe that when we can start from a place as a woman of stepping into this level of self-empowerment and self-health and self-love, that we are then going to emit these lessons out to our children and to our spouses and to everybody that matters the most in our life. But it comes first from doing a place that is just for you. How many of you feel like you have something in your life that's just for you? You carve out that time each day or a couple times a week where it's like your soul appointment, and it's something that's feeding you back and you feel really good from it, and it keeps you motivated and excited. How many of you feel like you actually have that? Right? Not a lot of people who come into my practice feel like they have that. And I get asked questions all the time, like, is this a weight loss course? This is not a weight loss course. Can you lose weight when you're doing this approach? 100%, but that's just the bonus side of this. I'm not a practitioner where, and I say this honestly to people, if you're simply looking for somebody to just give you a meal plan and an exercise plan and send you on your way, I'm not your girl. It's just not me. I have colleagues who do that. I can refer you out to great people, but that's not me. I'm not interested in telling you what to do. I am interested in you being part of this. We're creating a relationship together when I'm teaching you, and I want you to fully understand so that you can actually explain it to someone else. When you come into any of my courses and programs and we work together, one of the first things I will tell you is you are not allowed to hold this information to yourself. You become an ambassador of simplicity. You become an ambassador of creating more ease and more health in our lives. And I really put it on you to share everything that you are learning. So that is my hope for all of you. Where we begin the journey of delving deeper into what's going on with your body always begins with your digestive system. It's why I spend so much time on teaching this, and it's something where I really think that we have missed the mark so vastly when it comes to how we're educating people on their health. We're learning it ass backwards. We're being taught that it's about cutting calories, restricting, for years it was don't have any fat. Now it's have all the fat, but don't have any carbohydrates. And, you've got to do paleo, you've got to do, keto, you have to do, a macro based, all of this and that. And it gets more confusing for people. But at the end of the day, maybe you've learned a new style of eating, but do you understand any information about how your body is responding to that? If you still have gas and bloating and irregular bowel movements, you're not pooping regularly, you're burping all the time, you have acidity and reflux, you feel like you have no idea what to eat anymore because everything is bothering you, that is the first place we have to begin. It doesn't make any sense trying to put you on a cleanse or put you on a detox or trying to restrict your calories and those types of things if your body is in an amount of distress right now, if it's giving you those signs and symptoms. So a lot of people think it's normal to wake up feeling okay, and then as they're eating throughout the day, be really gassy and to have their belly expanding and to feel like they need a nap after they eat and to only go to the bathroom, every other day or every couple of days, and to have a coffee in order to go to the bathroom, or to have to do things like take Senalef or Ducalox or things like that. And those things, although they are common, we can talk to lots of people who can share those experiences, are not actually normal. And they're not creating a healthy body for you moving forward. And what's going on in your gut is literally sending all the communication out into the rest of your body. So if you have excess weight, if you can't gain weight, if you have eczema, if you have acne, if you have chronic dandruff, yeast infections, if you have a problem with your thyroid, if you don't manage your stress very well, if you have anxiety, depression, if you have really thin, brittle nails, if you have a metallic taste in your mouth, all these different things, you have very heavy, painful periods. Everything we can trace back to what is going on in your gut. What is the foundation of your body communicating and providing the rest of your system? Because here's what you have to understand. If you literally cannot break down and digest the food that you are eating, how do you think that you are getting any of the nutrients, any of the goodness out of that food that you are taking into your system? And if you're not getting any of the goodness, how are your organs? How are your 10 vital systems in your body? How are they getting any of the things that they need on a daily basis? Your body's not, and you start to become deficient. Your body starts to become out of balance. And when we start to produce signs and symptoms, that is your body's way of trying to talk to you. Your signs and symptoms are your body's voice. This is the way that it sends you an internal text message, like with an emoji that is burping and, gassy and your pants can't do up, saying, excuse me, I need you to pay attention. Whatever it is that you just ate or you continue to feed me on a daily basis, I am not okay with this. I don't feel good. And when you have all these digestive issues going on, your energy is compromised because you are literally leeching and sucking your own personal energy, because it takes a lot of work for your body to have to micromanage all the stuff that's going on in your gut. Your immune system is compromised. So when people come to me and say, I'm sick all the time, or my kids are getting everything, like I just have to hear a story of somebody with a virus and our family's going to get the virus, that is coming down to what is going on in your gut, because this is where more than 70 to roughly 80% of your immune system lives. So when I'm teaching in this course, in the Simplicity Project and in the Hormone Project, any of my teachings, it all starts in getting you to understand, the pros and the cons of some of the things that we may be doing for our digestive system. And then I walk you through an entire leaky gut healing protocol. So what do you actually need to start to remove out of the diet, and why? To me, there's nothing worse than being told, for me just to say to you, I want you to cut dairy, or I want you to cut gluten. I want you to cut nuts and legumes. Okay, Jen, why do you want me to cut those things? Well, dairy is the most inflammatory food we could be putting into our system. Gluten is the second most inflammatory food. If you have any issues digesting and breaking down gluten, you are literally creating an injury to the lining of your stomach every time you consume it. What that means is you're starting to create nicks and frays in the lining of the gut. You're now creating holes. You now have undigested food proteins and different antigens making their way into your bloodstream. Your immune system is not happy about that. It's going to create a response. You may end up having the gas and bloating, but you might also get hives. Your thyroid might start to get attacked. Like, this is the birthplace of Hashimoto's, an autoimmune disorder where it's attacking the thyroid tissue, starts within your actual digestive system in your gut. Why might some people have to come off things like legumes and nuts? Because of lectins and phytase. These are things some people's bodies just can't absorb and digest. But when you start to understand and know the reason why, your conscious choice when you're at the grocery store, or you're at the restaurant, or you are preparing dinner for your family, it becomes that much more heightened and aware, because you now understand the why behind the what. You see, it just doesn't work when we get told you're allowed to have this and you're not allowed to have that. And I don't believe in that approach, because if the person's mindset isn't there, then you just feel like you're on a diet. And I don't believe in diets. I believe in creating a really healthy way of super nourishing our body from the inside out, and in a way that it tastes good and it doesn't take forever, and that it's actually manageable and realistic. So everything starts in your digestive system. The other big part about your gut is understanding that any source of inflammation, joint pain, back pain, headaches, all of those issues, again, are coming from the gut. So we don't correct things like, excessive joint pain by taking Celebrex or taking Robaxacet, Advil, ibuprofen, which actually is just suppressing it deeper into your system. When we have gas and bloating, we don't just take Tums and Gaviscon and proton pump inhibitors. It's just suppressing it and moving it deeper into your system. And these are some of the things that you're going to learn about in this course, and not just learn about them, but then now what? Okay, Jen, now you're teaching us this information in the program, but now what do I do? That's actually what I'm going to teach you, is where you need to begin. And throughout the whole process is understanding that you have to be patient. This did not just happen yesterday. You didn't just wake up today and all of a sudden everything is off and feels different. This has been a slow, strengthening process over the years of your life. And so you've got to be willing to be patient enough to start to change and shift some of your daily habits and patterns, the things you've been doing. And then your body has to catch up to that, right? The initial response from your system is, what are you doing? Why are you changing? I don't like this. Give me what I'm familiar with. Your body will go through a bit of that withdrawal. And you feel that, right? This is why, we can only stick on something for a couple of days and then we start to go right back to what we normally would eat. It's our path of least resistance. But when you're starting to heal, that's actually a good sign. When your body is like, what's going on here? I'm not sure. And it gets a little bit defensive. We just teach you how to lean into that. Then you start to get to a place where, even if it's only eating healthfully for 4 or 5 days, removing certain things, and then you re-add it back in, I guarantee you, your body is going to let you know like that. You'll get a headache, you'll be sluggish, you'll feel like you have a bit of a food hangover, your cognition is going to be lower, your blood sugar will become unstable, you will probably feel like all of a sudden you've put on a couple pounds overnight from inflammation and water retention. So your bodies are very, very intelligent. They are brilliant when they are given the right tools and resources, and then you actually stick with those. You have to create consistency, right? I'll repeat this all the way through, and we can understand this as parents. You would never say to your child when they're starting something new, when they're starting skating, when they're starting gymnastics, when they're starting soccer, dance, piano, whatever it is, and they do it one time and they're not so good. You don't say to them like, you are terrible. You're not good at this. This is not your thing. We're not going to do this again. What do you say to them? You have to practice. You can't just give up at the first try. You have to try again and again. You've got to give it time. Your body has to learn and understand and all of those things. Repetition equals retention. We are no different. In fact, it is harder for us as adults because now we are kind of stuck in our ways, right? We've already got these schedules and these routines. So it's even more important for us to be doing it now, but we also have to appreciate and understand that it's not going to be this instant fix, right? It's not going to solve itself in 12 days or 28 days or even 6 weeks. But the 6 weeks is the impetus to it. It's like the catalyst. It's what's going to start to get you moving in the right direction and keep your energy stoked and keep you moving in the right direction. Right? So if you're that person where you've written in and said, I suffer from a lot of different levels of inflammation, we're going to start with your gut. So that is the first deep dive into this course. And it is step number 1 when I am working with clients. We heal your digestive system and teach you the impact of your inflammation and where inflammation is actually starting from. Okay. Then from there, we move into hormones. Now, this is the first time, this is the 6th time that I've taught, this is our 6th round of the Simplicity Project. And this is the first time that I'm doing what I'm about to tell you. Every year that I teach this, I teach a hormone class that focuses specifically around your reproductive hormones. So estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA. I talk about your cycle, right? Like menses, perimenopause, menopause. I talk about your thyroid and your adrenals. The hormones, I teach a 2.5-month course just about what I said there. And in this class, normally I've only done the 1 hour. And so it's been a lot to try to cram in. This year, what I am doing is I'm splitting the content up. Your first hormone class with me is going to be laying the groundwork so that you understand, A, what to be asking for in your blood work. So I'm going to give you a whole request sheet of what I would like you to ask your doctor for in your blood work. I also give you a sample script of how you can ask for this blood work because most family doctors won't necessarily agree to all of it, especially when we're talking about your thyroid panel, because TSH is not a full thyroid panel. And then from there, we are doing a separate 2-hour masterclass. So you are getting a full 3 hours. You are getting triple the time in this course for the first time ever, specifically on your hormones. So class number 1 is an hour, and it is like hormones 101, laying the groundwork. Then you are coming into a 2-hour masterclass with me online that I am going to actually bring up various people's, and you're not going to see who they are, blood work, doing their complete blood work, their thyroid panel, and I'm going to show you what healthy thyroid blood work looks like, and I'm going to show you what unhealthy looks like. And you're going to see in this paperwork here some of these women who have had, who have high levels of anti-TPO, and TG, like their thyroid peroxidase level and thyroglobulin level, which are your markers for an autoimmune condition, Hashimoto's, okay? That have been told they're totally fine. Meanwhile, their levels are double, triple, and quadruple what they should be. Women who are told their TSH level is fine and they are sitting in double, triple, quadruple what it should be. Women who are told their iron levels are fine and their ferritin is rock bottom, that their B12 levels are fine and they're rock bottom. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to screen share in the masterclass so you actually have this visual understanding of what your blood work looks like. Most people never ask for blood work when they go to their doctor, right? You don't ask to actually like get the paper copy. You need to have, like, you need to walk away with it in your hand. I spent a lot of my time in my practice doing interpretation of blood work, of Dutch hormone testing, and I've just started to do GI map testing, and it's fascinating. It gives us such an in-depth glimpse on what's going on in your body, and it starts to make sense of all the things that are happening. So if you've ever felt like you look up things like an underactive thyroid or adrenal fatigue, when really we're saying adrenal fatigue, it's a miscommunication in the brain. Your adrenals are just appearing as though they're fatigued because there is a breakdown in the communication between, in parts of your brain, your hypothalamus and your pituitary gland to those adrenals. Most people don't understand what those things actually mean. Yet if you were to start to read about your signs and symptoms, you would be like, oh my gosh, this is me. You know, difficulty losing weight, that's me. Cold all the time, that's me. Difficulty sleeping, that's me. Thinning eyebrows, that's me. Hair falling out, that's me. Slow bowels, that's me. Anxiety and heart palpitations, that's me. You go to your family doctor, you say, look, I think I have a problem with my thyroid or my adrenals, something going on. There's no blood test they'll do for your adrenals. I'll just tell you that, okay? They'll just tell you to get some sleep, or maybe tell you to go on an antidepressant. I'm not kidding. They'll do your blood work, but they'll only measure your TSH. And in the beginning stages, if your thyroid stimulating hormone is sitting within the, you know, suboptimal or to them optimal range, they'll tell you everything is fine. And that's simply not the case. And so that's what you understanding what your blood work level should be. It's so important for you to understand the full picture of your health and for you to be more empowered. Megan, yes, if you are breastfeeding, you can absolutely do the Simplicity Project course. We are not doing a detox in this. So you are 100% safe to be doing this while you are breastfeeding, for sure. So that masterclass is huge. I'm also going to be teaching you about cycle syncing, what that actually means. Most women don't know you actually have 4 phases of a menstrual cycle in the same month, right? We think like we just have our bleed. Not true. Your bleed is only one part of 4 phases of that cycle. And when you can start to learn and understand what's happening in each phase, you can start to pinpoint why maybe your skin breaks out at different times. Your mood is all over the place. Your cravings are all over the place. You can't sleep at certain times. Your patience are low, right? You're retaining water. You've, you know, different things that are happening in terms of your exercise intensity and your recovery time, why you might feel sick a few days out of the month and then, oh, boom, your period appears. Why maybe you're not getting pregnant. We're going to illuminate the information around all of this. So I'm really excited, as you can tell, for the Hormone Masterclass. It is one of the things I am most passionate about teaching women, because I want us to know enough to teach our girls. And I'll jump ahead here because it's one of the questions that I have been asked tonight is, can my family do the Simplicity Project with me? 100%. So yes, I only take women into the course and I talk about things like menstrual cycle and that men and our boys obviously don't have, but there is so much else that they're going to benefit from. And the men in your life, even, you know, like I have a son and a daughter. Sam, my son, much to his demise sometimes, he's learning and knows just as much about the menstrual cycle as his sister. And he's like, Mommy, why are you telling me this? Or why am I here when you're talking about this? And I'm like, you know what, buddy? You need to understand that girls in your class sometimes are going to feel a certain way. Your sister's going to feel that way. Mommy's going to feel that way. And if you can have a bit more of an understanding, you might feel a little bit more empathetic when that's going on and understand things a little bit better for that. So, you know, either it'll be a good thing for him or he'll be paying somebody to lie on a couch one day and talk about how I traumatized him. We'll see how those cards fall. Then after digestion and inflammation and your hormones, we move into your body care and your skin care. So this is huge. We don't recognize that every single thing you are putting on your body, that you are breathing in, that you are wearing, your household cleaners, your laundry detergent, all of that is impacting your hormones. Majority of commercial products, from your makeup to your hair care, your skin care, your soaps, what you're spraying down your countertops with, that you're washing your linens in, you're deodorizing your home with, air fresheners you're using in your car, are estrogen disruptors, okay? They are hormone disruptors. And so they play a big role with conditions like estrogen dominance, which is at the root of issues like endometriosis and polycystic ovarian syndrome and heavy menstrual cycles, a lot of clotting and painful cramps, breast tenderness, acne, mood swings, weight gain. And so in that, I give you a ton of different, and you guys get the whole library of both the books. So you get the e-library of the Simplicity Project book, of the Simplicity Kitchen book. You get recipes in here. You get a ton of DIYs for all of your body care as well too. So everything from your facial cleansers to your toners, to your body scrubs, to your serums, to hair masks. There's so many different things and very inexpensive. So my whole mission is all about creating more simplicity. I'm a minimalist. I live a very minimal lifestyle. And part of what has helped me do that is learning more about essential oils, which I'm teaching you all in this, learning more about carrier oils, learning more about how to create and make a lot of my own things at home. And this is, saving me a lot of money in my budget that I can then put back into the quality of the food that we are consuming, or, quality of our supplements that we are taking. So that is a really important part of this. And the younger that you can get your children and your family over onto these products, the better it is for their system. I'm also going to talk and teach you guys about even changing up your feminine care products as well too. We don't understand that a regular tampon has been chemically bleached and treated. It is genetically modified cotton, and we are inserting that vaginally, sitting in against the tissue of our vaginal wall, which doesn't have a gut lining, which doesn't have the liver and kidneys to help the filtering process and take the waste out into the bowels. It literally gets into the lining of the endometrium. Right? Your endometrium is your lining of your uterus, into the vaginal wall, and seeps out into your blood and starts to wreak havoc. So if you've had abnormal cells come back, if you've ever been told that you have cervical polyps, anything like that, if you have excessive heavy bleeding, very painful bleeding, a lot of cramping down there, this could be one of the big reasons. And it can be that simple switch of, changing the company that you buy your pads and your tampons from, choosing a company like Natura as opposed to a company like Always, maybe using a Diva cup as opposed to using the pads and the tampons. And so I give you a lot of different tips and tools and information around this as well too. So that's the third prong. So we've gone through digestion and inflammation. We've talked about your hormones, and that is, your hormones govern everything. So all of your food cravings, I'm going to teach you how to balance out leptin and ghrelin. Leptin is your satiating hormone. It is the hormone that says, Paulina, Vanessa, Megan, Jessica, Jody, Cedar, Teresa, thank you so much for what you've just eaten. I'm good. I'm satisfied now. You can put the fork down and you can step away. I feel good. I don't need you to go get me that little something after you've just eaten. I don't need to just have a little cookie or a little bite of chocolate. Like, I'm good. As opposed to that signal never being turned on, and ghrelin, the gremlin that I refer to as, constantly says, go get me more. I'm not satisfied. I want something sweet now. Can you find me something savory in the house? I'd really love something salty right now. I just want a little bit of chocolate. Can you go get me another glass of that wine? This is, your hormones are communicating this. So even though maybe we've had a really stressful, crappy day, and we're just like, I need to go and have that thing, right? That's like, it hits that reward center part of our brain, whether it's the glass of red wine, it's, the cookie, it's the piece of chocolate, whatever the heck it is, a scoop of ice cream. It is your hormones behind the scenes that are governing all of that. And you can learn how to actually rewire them from a neurological perspective very easily, and actually recondition them so you don't crave those things. Or maybe you still do like those things, but it's not like, I need to have it now. I work with some people who literally, it is nighttime, they want something, they will physically leave their home and drive to go and get that thing just so that they can have it, okay? We're trying to move away from that. We're trying to get away from like the 911 cravings. The fourth element of this is teaching you all about meal planning, budgeting, and how to actually set this out in your life so that you feel like you can do this. So we all have the best of intentions. We all think that, okay, it's Sunday. Tomorrow's Monday. It's a brand new week. It's a fresh start. I'm going to go grocery shopping. I'm going to buy every green vegetable that they have there. I'm only going to get lean protein. I'm not going to buy any junk. I'm going to hand make our meals every single night of the week, and we're going to be super healthy. This is it. And we go grocery shopping, we spend all the money, we come home, we put everything in our fridge. And then if we don't take the time to start to do some of the prep, life happens around us. Job happens, the kids happen, family events happen, stress happens, things happen. And next thing you know, everyone's hungry, everyone's asking what's for dinner or what's for lunch. And you open the fridge and you're like, there's nothing to eat. Even though it's a stocked fridge, there's nothing prepared to eat. So you feel like there's nothing to eat. And you end up grabbing a quick fix. And that food tends to go to waste. It doesn't get used. And then there's more money that's gone down the drain. I'm going to teach you a couple of different ways to make this happen for you. Some people have to have it where they're like, I need like, just give me 3 sample days and I'm just going to repeat those 3 sample days until I can get into this habit. Some people are like, nope, give me the whole thing. I give you an entire 7-day meal plan in this program. I lay it out for you from top to bottom, how many hours I want between when you've eaten at night to when you've eaten in the morning, for your digestive system, not for your weight loss. But remember, if we balance your gut, we are going to accomplish your weight loss goals. We don't go with the goal in mind of weight loss first and then hope our gut balances out. We balance your digestive system and your gut first. We take the hormones on that ride with us. We create stability. Your weight is going to come off and be released. And I'll talk more about that in a moment. But in this, I've given you a full 7-day meal plan. I have given you, you guys are getting first access to a ton of new recipes that I have created. And these are things that I would make. People have an illusion because I post pretty things on Instagram. I'm telling you, those pretty things take me typically like 20 minutes or less to whip together. My team always laughs at me and my family because my next cookbook, and it probably will be, really should just be called the Chuck It In Cookbook. I have just learned from, very early on, running multiple businesses and having children and a spouse and all of those things, that I need stuff that is high nutrients. I'll never compromise the nutrition in our food, but it has to be quick and easy, and it has to be accessible for me. I have to be able to do it. I need to be able to batch cook. And that's what I teach everybody that I work with. And this isn't like you have to spend 8 hours a week in your kitchen. If you wanted to, you totally could. But if you said to me, look, I have like 2.5 hours on a Sunday that I can commit to being in the kitchen, what's going to give me the most bang for my buck? I'm going to teach you how to do that. Brand new this time, that I've never done before, is I am actually going to share with all of you my Simplicity Finance worksheet. Now, I've been doing a lot of podcasts over the last year, and when you're on podcasts, they dig deep into the questions. And I wasn't prepared in the beginning to have some of the talks that I was having about what the struggles were like for us as a family financially when I first opened my yoga studio back in 2010. My husband had his own business. We had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. I had just come off pretty much of double mat leaves. I started this new business. I was still nursing my youngest. We were so broke. It was really, really challenging. We were living off cash jars for a period of time. My studio was rammed from the outside. It looked like everything was going great. But it wasn't, because we had a membership in the beginning where it was joined for 30 days for $30. So you do the math. I mean, you can only survive paying your staff and all of your bills and everything off $30 for so long. And so I really, I got sick for a period of time. I shoved everything deep down for a year. I ignored the signs and symptoms of my body. I was exhausted until it got to the point where I literally could not get off the couch for 4 days. And my little kids were taking care of me, putting cloths on me. My husband was like on his knees on the ground in front of me, just like, I don't even know who you are. Like, how does this happen to you? You're always like bionic woman that can just get through stuff. And I couldn't. My body got to this point where I was so depleted. I was just giving to everyone and everything else. And it got to the point one day, the breaking point was I couldn't get 20 bucks out of the bank. And I had my kids in the car with me, and I was just like, what the fuck has happened? Like, how did I get here? How did this happen? And so after living on the couch for 4 days, high fever, I pretty much just cried and slept for 4 days thinking, what am I going to do? I had this moment where I was like, oh my God. And I just sat up and I started to call every mentor in my life I had ever had. I started to call people who I really didn't even know, but I was watching them be really successful. And I was like, you need to tell me what you did, and you need to teach me now, because I'm just thinking like I'm going to become the couch soon if somebody doesn't give me some inspiration to get out of this. And I took notes. I took a ridiculous amount of notes, and I just made a decision that day that I was done. And so I created this whole worksheet. I started to follow Gail Vaz-Oxlade's, till death do us part. We lived in the cash jars for a couple of years, and within 18 months rebounded and built a 6-figure yoga studio. And I am sharing for the very first time. It's been a really vulnerable experience for me, but I'm sharing for the very first time in the Simplicity Project exactly what we did as a family in order to our health never was compromised. I mean, I got sick for the couple of days, but I never had to, buy unhealthy food for us. We didn't stop getting chiropractic adjustments. We didn't stop exercising. Like those things were our big priorities. And so I knew, okay, there's other stuff that has to give. If our health is the thing that we're not willing to compromise, then I have to be able to trim and cut it down from somewhere else. And so I got really darn good at being able to do that. And that is what I'm sharing with everyone in this course, because I understand it's one of our biggest barriers. We don't think we can afford it. We don't think it's accessible to us. You know, it's like any day of the week, we could always come up with the reasons why something isn't possible for us. And my whole mission is to teach and empower you that it is possible. You just maybe haven't been given the opportunity to look at in a way where you can see, okay, I could do that. Like I could maybe manage that. And it's not about doing everything all at once. Like you have access to this course forever. You're in it with me live for a month and a half. We all come live together on June 9th in Newmarket for a huge day of immersion, which I'll talk about towards the end. It's just like the closest thing to my heart. But you have access to this content forever. You can go back and watch as many times as you need to. Everything is downloadable for you. So whether it's on your iPod or your phone or your Mac, whatever it may be, the worksheets, you can print it all off. We have a private Facebook group as well too. There's a community that's created for you, and daily posts, recipes, additional videos, guest speakers, weekly Facebook lives with me. You have so much support within these courses. Like it's unbelievable. It feeds me as much as I'm feeding and providing for everybody in the group. I always say to people ask me all the time, like, when did you stop going to school? And I'm like, I haven't. I'm a student every single day still. Every client that I have, every woman that comes into one of my programs, I'm a student again. I am still learning all the time. We all have something to learn from one another. The beautiful part about being in a group is you know you are not alone. You get to hear from other people's stories and experiences, and it makes us feel at peace. It calms us and grounds us, and it's like, okay, like I'm not the only one. I can manage this. I can learn from what these other people are doing. And part of that learning, this puts us into step 5, is about how to move your body, how to exercise. And I say movement and exercise separately because they're not the same thing. I want you to move your body daily. I don't want you to exercise daily. Those of you who follow me know, like I'm at the gym 6 days a week. Exercise is just as much as my passion. I've been in a gym since I was 6 years old with my dad, going regularly since I was 9. For those of you that are in like the Newmarket area where I grew up, Glenway Country Club, 9 years old, I was teaching the kids cardio classes there. By 17, I was teaching the adults at multiple gyms, doing the Grapevine. And it is my, it's like my meditation mat for me. So I'm super passionate about exercise. You get an entire exercise protocol from me. I lay out what a full week can look like that you can work through over these 6 weeks. I give you videos of me doing the movements so you know how to do it. So there's an exercise component that incorporates strength training, yoga, meditation, Pilates, band work, foam rollers, things that are just great for releasing tension in your system, but also for those of you who want to add some shape and some density. I'd always like to use the word tone, because when you're saying you want to tone up, what that actually means is you're building lean muscle tissue. Tone is just the appearance you get from that. But then we talk a lot about movement. What does that look like? Like how, when you are a busy working young woman or a mom, do you carve out the time for you to move, and listen to the lesson that you want to listen to and cook the food? And it's about teaching you how you can create and do all of this for yourself in a shorter amount of time. Some of you may have watched on my Instagram stories today. I had a really busy day of phone calls and things. And instead of sitting here on these calls all day, I wear a fanny pack and I put my phone into my fanny pack and I wear earbuds so I can go for a walk on those calls. I can move around my home. I can stretch. I can, do whatever it is, but I'm not hunkered down in one position, because that lack of movement, sitting is the new smoking. And that's not something I've made up. Sitting is the new smoking. That's a new statistic. It is cutting off our circulation. It is impacting your level of energy. And that energy matters for everything that you are trying to do. It's actually impacting how well you will sleep in the evening if you've been sitting on your keister all day long. So again, I'm not going to train you to do Ironman. I'm going to train you how to move in your life and in your body every day. And for those of you who want to go more intensely, ask those questions when you're in the private group, and I will, give you a response. I'm seeing lots of questions coming on the bottom here, and I'm going to get to those. Just bear with me. Give me like 7 minutes, then I'm going to get to those questions. And I want to say thank you for all of you for staying on this long. This is awesome. Sometimes I'm just like, am I talking to myself over here? But it's good because you're all on with me still. The final part is about mindset. Now, this is huge. Anytime that we are going to create a shift, a change in our life, whether it's a really tiny one or it feels like something that's really monumental, mastering our mindset is something that has to begin. I call it the art of simplicity. Like, what does that actually mean? Simplicity isn't about things being simple. Simplicity is about getting to a place where you really have this level of discernment of deciding what is serving you and what is not. And I don't have perfect balance in my life. And it's not that I don't believe in balance. I just don't believe in what we term balance to be. I have lots of weeks that are really out of balance. This is a week that's totally out of balance. I have way more things to do on my list than my body probably really wants to do. And I have to be okay with that right now, because this is a period of time that is very short term that I need to get through in order to get me to that next place and that next level where then I can give my body a little bit more rest. But it's short intervals. If you had talked to me 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, when I lived on the couch for 4 days, I didn't understand what that meant. I didn't know. I thought this was the routine. You go as hard as you can all the time, every day. You do everything for everyone else. That's my role. I'm a mom and a wife and a business owner until I burned out. And then you rest and you let your burnout, you recover a little bit, and then you just get back up, you've refilled the tank, and you do it again until you get exhausted and you burn out. And I just thought that was the process. I thought it was the process. Until I realized that sucked. And it wasn't serving me. And how could I sit in the front of the classroom as a yoga instructor? How could I be sitting across the table from other women and moms and telling them they needed to start to create more time for themselves and create more self-love and self-compassion if I wasn't doing it myself? And everything switched in my life for me. Everything. And I'm still learning. And so I just share that really honestly with people. And so throughout the course, when we talk about the mindset piece and we talk about the art of simplicity, I share with you some of the personal things that I've used, our guest speakers as well too. So we have Joy McCarthy as one of our guest speakers, who's just such a vibrant energy and woman. She's amazing. Dr. Megan Walker, who is a naturopath based out of Toronto. She's also the host of the Anthropology podcast. Oh man, mama of 3. She's one of my favorite people. She's so fantastic. She's coming in. Dr. Sachin Patel, who, that man is so brilliant, like beyond intelligent, and has the most amazing way of distilling the deepest level of information, the most complicated level of information, onto such a human level that everybody understands what he is communicating with you. We have Rachel Melinda, who's actually part of Joy McCarthy's team, and Rachel really works on the mental emotional part of our bodies, how we perceive and see the shape and the body that we have, and how we can get back to that place of like loving ourselves without being self-deprecating, without looking in the mirror and noticing all our flaws right away. And then Samantha Gladish, one of my very dear friends, and Sam teaching and talking to you guys about the importance of our oral health, how this impacts your thyroid, how this impacts your digestive system, how this impacts your immune system. It's huge. And we have 2 other guest speakers that we've yet to announce yet. So this program is probably the most well-rounded that we've ever run in the past 6 years of doing this. So there's just, I mean, the depth and level of information that you are all going to be getting is pretty incredible. So that's the 6-tier system that I use. Digestion and inflammation is the first deep dive. Then I move you into your hormones 101, followed by your hormone masterclass, which is all about your menstrual cycle, cycle syncing, even for women who no longer have a period, who maybe had premature ovarian failure, had a full or a radical hysterectomy, a partial hysterectomy, who are fully through menopause. You still actually have an internal cycle that needs to be honored, and I teach you about that. Your skin and your body care, meal planning, budgeting, how to make this a priority, and how to actually make it accessible for you and for your family, your exercise, your movement, your mindset, and mastering the art of simplicity. So let me get to some of these questions that are down here, and then I'll come back over. So I'm going to pull these up. Hi, Jen. I'm a breast cancer survivor with HER+ and HR+. I also have high blood pressure, pre-diabetic, thyroid disease, fatty liver disease, anxiety, and depression. Okay. So I recently had TSH blood work done today. I'm taking Losec, Synthroid, Converso. Okay, that is a lot of medication. I'm postmenopausal. Okay, so there's a lot that is going on here. A lot that's going on here. And this is something where I would say, you know, when we take a look into this, so I don't know what your full health history is. So these are all of what your diagnoses have been that you've been told. But I don't know what your health history is. And you don't have to tell me what your health history is now. That's something that, you know, you would do like in a consultation. But fatty liver disease, that is something I'll pinpoint on. So fatty liver disease and pre-diabetic, they are in a relationship with one another. And the reason being is that fatty liver is coming from sugar intake. It's not coming from, you know, the alcohol that we've been told, unless you do have a problem with alcohol, then that could be a part of it. But fatty liver and pre-diabetic, that is coming from your sugar intake. So that would even be things like your doctor doing their due diligence and looking at your HbA1c levels, looking at your glucose levels as well too. The thyroid disease and the depression, those can be linked with one another. Because our thyroid is not just, you know, we get told all the time that your thyroid is what's governing your metabolism. It's not just your metabolism in regards to your weight loss. It's the metabolic process that's happening in your ovaries, that's happening, you know, within your entire endocrine system. There is a rhythm that your body is trying to maintain. And when any one of those things are out of balance, everything becomes out of balance. The high blood pressure could be due to, there could be some excess body weight that's on. If you've got pre-diabetic issues going on and fatty liver, there's probably some excess weight and some inflammation that's on your system as well too. There's a lot of moving pieces on top. I would be working on what's going on underneath all of that. And again, my protocol for that wouldn't change. I would begin by addressing what is going on in your digestive system and healing the inflammation. When you start from a place of healing your gut, if we heal digestion, it means that we're getting regular bowel movements. And if you're not pooping, you're creating autotoxicity. You literally have toxins in your poop that is, you know, going back up into your system and reigniting issues, inflammation, retention. You store your fat, your toxins rather, in your fat cells. If you're not pooping on a regular basis and we're not getting all of this toxic debris out of your system, it is staying in there and it is wreaking havoc. If we heal your gut, and we do that via your butt, we get you having regular bowel movements. If we're honoring your digestive system, it means that we are stabilizing your blood sugar. When we stabilize your blood sugar, you're no longer pre-diabetic. Okay, that means we're also taking the load off of your liver. When the liver doesn't have to do so much work for you, that means that it can ease up on its role and it can do a better job at metabolizing harmful forms of estrogen. Breast cancer, majority of breast cancers are estrogen dominant breast cancers. The liver and the gut play a huge role in that. The liver is also having to do a lot of work with all of the medication that your body is on. So there's not just one thing. This program is perfectly structured for you to start to teach you what you need to know, because I'm going to assume that nowhere along the lines of being diagnosed with any of these issues, of being put on multiple medications, has anybody ever educated you along the way. So all you know are the names of the issues they told you that you've had, and you know the amount of milligrams and the name of the medication that you're on, but you actually probably haven't been empowered one iota on how to actually heal your body. That would be where I would come at from you coming into this course. Okay, so I recently began experiencing hair loss. It comes and goes in cycles. Do you think it is something hormonal? It definitely could be something hormonal. It also could be some deficiencies. Typically, I find that if you notice that there's been changes in your menstrual cycle, a little bit heavier, coming more frequently, those types of things, energy level is lower. Is there any weight gain or changes in your skin? Is your skin getting drier as well too with the hair falling out? Body temperature changing, those are pretty indicative of hormonal imbalances. But there also might be some underlying nutrient deficiencies as well too. Things like B vitamins, magnesium, selenium, and zinc would be some of the ones that would come to mind, as well as things like your vitamin D and your omega-3s. So in my book, The Simplicity Project, I talk a lot about my foundational 5 supplements. That would be something that I would make sure that you are starting on. But when we're seeing hair loss in that, I'd also be making sure that you are getting in some selenium and some zinc as well too for that. Okay, let me scroll down here. Hi, Judy. Do you have a question or are you just saying hi? It says hi, Jen. Hi. Any other questions here from any of you that are listening before I go through some of the questions that were already submitted? So one of the questions is this meal plan dairy-free and gluten-free? It is 100% gluten-free and it is dairy-free. There are a couple recipes where I give you the option if you wanted to add in some goat or some sheep's cheese, but that you can totally omit out because it's just like a condiment over a salad or something, but it's not based in that. And we also offer different substitutions within the private Facebook group as well too. If there's something that you can't have, we just give you a suggestion of what you can have instead. What exactly is included in the course, top to bottom? All right, Keener Wiener here. I like it, straight to the point. So you have the 6-week course where you get the live classes with me every Monday night at 7:30. Now they were all recorded, so if you can't be on live, don't stress. I would recommend that you submit your questions ahead of time so you can make sure that you get that answered, but you will get the recording very shortly after. Typically within 24 hours, you will get that recording. You also get the entire playlist at the end of it, all downloadable. My assistant Vanessa takes care of all of that for you. We have the weekly Facebook Lives, those Q&As, which are also recorded, obviously, and you guys can go back and view after. You have your guest speakers, your meal plan, tons of recipes. We give you your grocery list for your meal plan as well, too. You have your weekly exercise plan from me, as well as the videos linked up so you know exactly what you're doing and how to do it. You get the entire ebook library, my Simplicity Project book, which is where all your information is about all the systems within your body. You also get 70 recipes in that book, as well as my Simplicity Kitchen, which is the cookbook with an additional 70 recipes. Plus, you all are getting access to over a dozen brand new recipes that aren't going to be out until my next cookbook releases, which won't be until late fall. And so you guys all get a sneak peek and sneak eat at all of those recipes. You also receive a free ticket to my VIP event in Newmarket on June 9th. You will get to meet all of our guest speakers in person. I handpick all the vendors, grassroots companies and products, everything I talk to you guys about in this course so that you can touch, taste, see, and smell everything in person. We bring 200 women together on this one day throughout the year. This is our 3rd year of doing the live event. Your morning starts with yoga with the incredible Anne Green. You are fed throughout the day. Nature's Emporium caters all of our food. It is 100% organic, non-GMO, and incredible. You get swag bags. We have prizes throughout the day. This one day is an immersion, and I bring all of the women who have gone through my courses throughout the year, the Hormone Project. They've been a private client of mine. They're into the Simplicity Project here. We only take 65 women in the Simplicity Project. And you all come together on this one day. And for those of you who have been there before and at it, you know how special and how bonding this day is. And it lights a fire within you. It lights a flame that keeps you stoked to keep going and continue to ignite that within yourself. You know, when I created this course, it was for 2 people in mind. It was for the mom who never creates the time for herself and really needs something that's just for her. And it was for the woman who was so interested in what was going on with health and vitality and wellness and nutrition and exercise that she was contemplating going back to school, but was afraid to make the commitment. This course is like your appetizer for going back to school to possibly become a registered holistic nutritionist. This is going to give you the fundamental information that you would need to know. And I can tell you, when you come out of this course, if you were like, I'm hungry for more, I just want more, you're ready to take that next step. Now, the other benefit to coming into this program is you will never pay full price for this ever again. One thing I do for everyone who comes into my courses is you always get an alumni rate with me because I want your education to continue. I had a follow-up call with a woman today for my Hormone Project who did it for the 2nd time. And she said to me, you know, the first time I loved it so much. And she said, but this time it was I actually felt like I digested the information. You know, she said the first time it's like I was listening and I was hearing it, but it was a lot of new information for me. It was a lot of changes for me. And she said that this time I feel like this was the time for me. And it has made so many changes in her life. It's unbelievable. It was like talking to a totally different person. And so I do that for everybody. You don't ever pay the full price again. Once you have come into the Simplicity Project, you will always, as my word, my personal guarantee, you will always get that alumni rate. Every day we post inspirations, we post recipes, you know, different video tips. You get all access to all the different podcasts, not just podcasts that I've been on. It's boring to hear me all the time. You're already going to hear me every single week, but podcasts that I love, mindset podcast, exercise, recipe ones, you know, parenting ones, all of those. Like I literally am just going to infuse your life with so much goodness, and you will have this banked anytime you want to hear it again and again. Okay, lots more questions coming in here. I'm not on Facebook. Can I still participate? Sorry, that is a real question, not a test. You can still participate in it. I will tell you that you do miss out on a lot of the really good conversation and community part of it. That being said, if you don't want to be on the Facebook, you don't have to. Other people, what they've done in the past is they have come up with a fake profile. They don't tell anybody else. You don't even send it to me. You send it to my assistant, Vanessa. She puts you in under the radar. You don't even have to have a photo on there, so that you just get to take advantage of only what happens in our group. It is a secret group. So nobody else can trace you on Facebook, any of that, but that is totally up to you. But yes, you could still do it without being on Facebook. Okay, more questions down here. When does the 6 weeks begin? Awesome question, Judy. Monday, next Monday, April 16th. The one-day event shared so much information from so many speakers. It's a day I'll never forget. It was so inspiring. Aw, thank you, Judy. It was honestly like I could tear up just thinking about that day. It like every time I talk about it, like my eyes are actually tearing up. I get goosebumps because it's that day is everything that when we talk about as a woman, like I want to have a spa day. I want to just like have a day where I can sit and watch Netflix. No, you don't. No, you don't. I'm going to tell you this. You think you do because you're so tired, but part of the reason you're so tired is because there's nothing that's just for you filling you up. And then you come on this day and you leave this space with all these other women and you are just like, I have found my tribe. I have found my tribe, right? That is what we become, is your village. Do we get the alumni rate if we took the 99 Inspired course years ago? No, only if you've done the Simplicity Project course. What makes you different from other NDs? I am not an ND, Cindy. I'm not a naturopathic doctor. So I don't run your blood labs. I give you the requisition, like the request sheet that you take to your doctor. So I am not a naturopathic doctor. I am a registered holistic nutritionist studying in functional medicine, diagnostic nutrition, and a medical exercise specialist. My background, my degree is in human anatomy, biomechanics, and physiology. What is your thought on anxiety? What would you recommend in regards to food, vitamins, and minerals? I would recommend that you start healing the gut. So more than 70% of the serotonin and dopamine, which are your neurotransmitters that are responsible for joy. They're what emit joy. They are your anti-anxiety and antidepressant hormones, are produced in the lining of your gut. So if there's any digestive issues, if there's any permeability issues, that is drastically going to impact your body's ability to be able to produce the hormones that are going to mitigate any level of stress or overwhelm that is happening. The other thing would be supporting your adrenals. So the foundational 5 that I talk about in my book, which is your vitamin D, your omega-3, magnesium is a big one for the adrenal care, your probiotic, and Juice Plus. Those are your 5. And then I would also, recommend, if you're not already taking a really good quality B complex or at least a sublingual B12, that would be really important. And that would be as a base to get started. There are different things like L-theanine, which can be really good to help to take the edge off. There's also different homeopathic remedies. But I would quite honestly start on working on the gut healing protocol first, and then start to just kind of tether in those other pieces. But if you're not doing magnesium, I would recommend doing that. I teach a lot too in the part about essential oils, about different things like lavender and vetiver and melissa oil. Those would be some good things to be using as well too. Is there a yoga class in the Ignite Your Life day? Yes, Karen, there is. Yeah, Anne is back to teach us. What do you consider normal levels for TSH, free T3 and T4? So Jenna, I'm not going to get into that tonight. I want to be respectful that we're at 9:02, and that's what I get into in the masterclass. I will say for TSH, though, for me, that I am ideally trying to find the level that is between 1 and 1.8. Anything that is above 2 is considered suboptimal, which would mean that your body's starting to give us an indication that the thyroid is starting to become a little bit sluggish, and anything that's below 1 is the opposite, where it means that the thyroid is starting to become a little bit overactive. So between 1 and 2 for your TSH is that level that you were looking at for that. Good solution, secret profile, nothing to hide, just not a fan of Facebook. No problem at all. I totally get it. Listen, I understand it. All the social media stuff, if I didn't have a business, I probably wouldn't be on it either. How much is the cost of Ignite Your Life workshop in Newmarket? So when the public ticket sales go on, it's $149 for that event. You don't pay that when you're part of the Simplicity Project. You get that ticket for free. You touched on it being safe for breastfeeding. What about pregnancy? Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, there's nothing that you are doing. There's no like detoxification protocol in here that is going to be dumping anything from your system into your amniotic fluid and into the baby's body. So you are totally safe. I am taking you through how, I've done things and lived my own life, having 2 pregnancies, having 2 children, as well as all the women and moms that I've worked with. So this isn't like in the hormone project. I wouldn't recommend necessarily to be pregnant for some of the protocols that we do. This is something you would do trying to get pregnant or coming out of your pregnancy. But the Simplicity Project, you are totally safe. Oh, you're welcome, Cindy. Judy, that day was so emotional and my desperation ended that day. Aw, that's so awesome. It's amazing the energy of other people. Acne, typically hormonal or gut? Both. And I can tell you as somebody who suffered from acne for years, for years, that it is both. So it is a combination of what's going on in your digestive system, certain foods that you are eating that trigger it. Don't ever believe a dermatologist who tells you that the food you eat has nothing to do with your acne. That is not true at all. It has a massive impact. It's a huge trigger. The health of your liver is a big part of acne as well too, and then definitely the hormones. So depending on where your acne happens. So if it's across the forehead, that has a lot to do with gut and digestion. In between the eyes or the eyebrows is a lot to do with the liver, up and through the cheeks, a lot of congestion, cardiovascular, circulatory in the lungs, and all and around here in the mouth is hormones. Now, when we talk hormones, what does that mean? Does that mean that you have more androgenic hormones? The male hormones, is DHEA and testosterone higher? Are you having a difficult time metabolically eliminating those hormones, or is it your estrogen levels are high? So when we're talking about acne, it is gut and hormones. It's not one or the other, it's both. It's just discerning how they are showing up in your system. What time does the day begin for Ignite Your Life? It is a full day. So you're with us from 9 until 4:30. It's on a Saturday. The farmer's market is outside as well too. So you can walk around the farmer's market. You have lots of breaks and movement in between, and it goes by so fast. The cost of the Simplicity Project is $297, okay? And that includes your ticket that you get, everything that I talked about. There is no hidden cost for anything. And that's our early bird rate, which I believe is available for, what day is today? Today is Monday. My assistant's on. So we have that. We are going into the yoga conference this weekend. Thursday until Sunday, we are down there. So when we're out of our 65 spots, we're out of our 65 spots for that. How do you sign up? There is, my assistant Vanessa is going to put the direct link right here for you guys. Also, you can sign up directly if you go on to Instagram into my bio. So where my picture is on Instagram, there's a little thing that says Linktree, and you can sign up right there. So Vanessa's going to link that up in the next couple of minutes. Hopefully she's still on here with us, but you're also all going to get the recording of this, and you'll have that direct link in there as well too. So if you just give her a minute, she'll post that up there. But yes, yeah, so yeah, Amy, for sure. It is. It's just 65. And the reason that I do that is because we already have so many other women that have RSVP'd that are coming to the live event. And I want to make sure that everyone who registers gets a ticket for that day. Now, another great question that just came through. If you don't live in the area and you can't come to the live event, don't let that hold you back. You can donate that ticket to somebody else. You can use that as an opportunity to pay it forward to somebody else. You could give it to your mom, your sister, somebody you know who lives here. We had women last year, because we have women from all over the world who do the program. Vanessa's just posted the registration link right there on the sidebar. We have women who come in from all over the world, and they're such beautiful women. They donate. So then what we do is go in and post into our private Facebook group and say, you know, Megan, who is able to come to the live event, she's got this ticket donated from somebody, and now she brings her mom with her, or her sister, or her girlfriend who's been going through struggles. So we make it accessible for all of you, and make sure that you're able to utilize it. Okay, let me go back in here into the question. So Judy, for the alumni rate, you guys were all emailed, and then it's also within the Simplicity Project group from last year. And so, but I'll make sure we'll get it sent out to you directly. What time do you do your live sessions? At 7:30. As far as the lab work for blood work, do they charge for anything? They might. It all depends on your doctor, right? So it all depends. If they don't agree to certain things, you might have to pay out of pocket. But that is like, these are one of those things where I say to people, you know, we always ask about, well, what's it going to cost? And we don't ask that question when we go and buy the new sweater or the earrings or the handbag or whatever. You know, we don't even go up to, you know, the cash register or to the waitress when we're going out for dinner and say, you know, is this covered under my insurance, or, you know, whatever it may be, because we value that and it's important to us. And we have to start to treat our body the same way. This is why I think it's so important this time around to share my finance approach when we were really broke, as how we didn't have to let go of any of those things. So when it comes to blood work, you're probably going to pay on average anywhere from $30 to $70 each test for an additional test. So what I have found in the past is that most doctors won't agree to do the thyroid paneling. So you might have to pay out of pocket to get your free T4 and T3 done, or your thyroid antibodies, if we believe there to be enough reason that something could be going on in those areas. So you might even if you had to invest an extra $200 in your testing, wouldn't you rather know exactly what's going on instead of guessing? It's going to save you so much time to actually know and to test instead of guess. Now, there's a lot of people where they have signs and symptoms where I'm like, we'll get the mainstream blood work done. Let's just start to work on your lifestyle first right now. And then if we do those things and they're still not responding, then that's when I'm like, okay, we need to go a little bit deeper and get the blood work done. So you don't always have to like run right out of the gates. It's the same thing I offer Dutch hormone testing, which anybody who comes into my programming, you get $100 off the Dutch hormone testing. That money, none of it comes through to me. It all goes straight to the lab. And that is a complete hormone paneling testing. You cannot get that through your family doctor. They don't even know what it is. So this is all the kind of stuff I'm going to expose you to. It's things that I really wish that as women that we were taught when you were in grade 5 all the way up. This to me is the curriculum that should be part of school. And when you come into this course, you are back in school and the subject is you. It is all about you. So we are 9:10. I will take 2 more questions, and then we're going to hop off tonight. So for those of you that have to get off now, I totally understand. I want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your night with me. And I really, truly appreciate it. I think you mentioned you have a template on how to ask the doctor about blood work. I think it makes a difference. That's good support in this program. Yeah, I give you 4 different scripts of sample ways that you can ask. So I give you suggestion, ask this way. If it doesn't work, here's another approach you can take. Here's another approach. Because oftentimes we're met by, you know, defensively by our doctors, and it can be a contentious situation, and we don't want that, right? We do not want that. Oh, some of you want to see who the guest speakers are. Okay, let me just screen share with you, and I will pull up with you what their pictures look like. Just let me know if you can see my screen here. So this is Joy McCarthy. So Joy is going to be with us at our live event, as well as doing one of our guest speaking in our Facebook group. We have got Dr. Megan Walker, who's going to be joining us in our Facebook group. We have got Rachel Melinda. We've got Dr. Sachin Patel, and his whole entire Living Proof Institute team is going to be with him, which is going to be out of this world, because North America wide, globally, they run some of the most sophisticated diagnostics. Sachin is teaching all over the world with people like Dr. Mark Hyman, with JJ Virgin, with Deepak Chopra, with Naveen Jain. He is like in such high demand right now. The man is brilliant, and we get him for the second year in a row. And Samantha Gladish. So that is a preview of who we have joining us. And then this is the cover guide for your digestion and your inflammation guide that you get. Your exercise and movement guide, your stress reduction guide, which is all about your mindset. This is your big budgeting guide that you guys all get, your skincare, and then our hormone guide, which is the final one that you guys will get. I just finished writing yesterday because I just had so much content that I wanted to add in there. So if you were following my Instagram stories, you were seeing that just yesterday I wrote brand new edition, which was 5,173 words to teach and educate you. Will I be doing any live one-on-one sessions at the end? No, so I'm not, this isn't like in the Hormone Project where I do private consultations. You can book a private consultation once the course is done to go through anything, but you don't get one inside of the program. Oh, you're welcome, Laura Lee. Dr. Patel is amazing. Yes, he is. So true. Awesome. All right. Deadline to register when our 65 spots are taken. So this is going out to not just you guys, the recording, but this is going out to our entire email list on Wednesday as well. So we are 50% sold out at this point of our 65 spots. So, well, I guess more than 65. There's not a ton that are left. I would say that if you register between now and Thursday, you're probably pretty safe. The yoga show starts on Thursday, where I'm teaching a couple classes and we have a booth for 4 days. So today's Monday. Between now and Thursday, I would say that you're pretty safe to register. You are welcome. Thank you guys all so much for joining on tonight. Megan, if you scroll up higher, the link was posted. If you go a couple messages up where it says from Vanessa, you'll see the link, and you're also going to get the link in the recording as well too. Thank you, Carmela. Thank you, Cindy. Awesome. Have an amazing rest of your night. And I'm going to give you permission on this. Feel free to share this webinar with anybody that you like who's interested in more information. I know some of you are doing that with your moms and your sisters and girlfriends you want to do the program with, and you have my full permission to be able to share this with whoever you like. So with that, have an awesome sleep. Take care, everyone.